375 and 3. You're going to be 3. Look at them sound. Now going to be 3. 350, 375, 400.
75. And 25, 50, but it's 75 and 1. 125, 50, get 75 and 2. 2 quarter, how about you 75 and 3?
And 3, you're going to be 325. You're going to be 350, 375. Look at them sound. Now going to be 375, 400, 450. One more time. Going to 450. Last gone. 500. Pick it up. I'm get a 5.
Yeah, 5 and a quarter, but again, quarter, now, but I'm 5, 25, and a 50 here, now, but I'm 1 by 75, and a 600. It's $600 here, now, quarter, but again, quarter, now, but I'm 6 and a quarter, 6 and a half, 675, now 700, and let's go. Now, quarter is 7 and a 7 and a quarter and a half. Sold it, sold it, sold it, sold it, sold it.
Nice.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome into the Wild Boar Show. I am Chris, the Wild Boar, and I have great guests with me today. This is part 2 of our auctioneer series. With me today, my special guest, Evan Minck from Speed Kings Auction.
Yes, sir.
And my very, very good friend, Marty Higgenbotham from Higgenbotham International. Welcome in, boys.
Just showed up.
Just showed up.
Well, y'all been practicing a little bit, I think,
A little
from what I
bit.
just saw there. That was all right.
Just a little
Do you
bit.
just watch the videos, or you just go to the Wild Boar videos?
Yellow
You get stuck
lines
there?
in the middle of the highway is how I learned.
Sure, isn't that it? It's so true.
That's
I remember
what I did.
standing up in auction school, and remember what they start you with a tongue twister.
Yeah.
Do you remember what it is?
Oh man, rubber
probably-
baby. Or no, I
Rubber
didn't.
baby buggy butters.
Yeah, I
Do you
just never
remember?
did those, but yeah.
It was Betty Butter, right? Betty Butter bought some butter, but she
Yeah.
said this butter's better, but this better, butter
There
better.
was
I don't
like
know.
15 different ones.
Mine was engine number 9 going down the Chicago line. If the engine jumps right, well, you get your money back.
I love it. Here we go. What do you say here? Then he says, now you got some, we have some isms. We got some Marty isms. We got some Evan isms. I got some Chris isms. What are some of your Evan isms?
So some of mine would be what are the ones we had? The Evanisms. We had the painting like that. Oh yeah, would paint it red, put a Coke sticker on it, and sell it. We used to do all kinds of weird stuff on the mic. Man, there's a lot of them that I have. I have too many isms like that.
Marty, you got one or two that I love.
You know when I started out, when I was practicing, I started out with the telephone poles.
Okay.
And when I got really good, I used the fence posts.
There you go. And now, well, you know what the problem is? Oh, Speed Kings over here uses the lines in the road.
I did do that.
He said the poles are too far apart.
40 mile an hour. That's all you gotta do.
25, we get 30, we get 35, we get 40. And so one of my favorites Marty does is going to the bank, going to the bank.
Yeah.
I got one. I go, don't frown. The hammer's coming down. Don't frown. Hammer's coming down. Because you got somebody who's sitting on their edge of their seat and they're thinking about it, right? So we're not just guys that talk fast, right? We're counselors.
Yes.
Right? Sometimes
Oh, yeah.
although the state doesn't call us lawyers, the lawyers call us, don't they? The lawyers call
Yes.
us.
Every day.
They call us all the time, right? What else do we do, Marty? I mean, obviously we help people. What else do you do as an auctioneer that you think people probably either don't understand or maybe take for granted? Or
Well, bottom line is what we do, and we're doing. I feel like a counselor sometimes because bottom line is when the husband's passed away, the widow is sitting there. She doesn't know what to do. This is the first time it ever happened, so it's a first-time experience.
Sure.
For her.
Yep.
And
Yep.
she doesn't know what about the values. She don't know when she should what she should call an attorney. She doesn't know. So, bottom line is, we spend a lot of time counseling people, and this is an everyday thing. We're not. I mean, that's not once in a while. It's every day. And like I said, I've had 2 calls already today. I just got a call from Indiana. The property's up in Central Florida. And he said, the husband's passed away. The wife says, please come and help me. Get me out of here.
Sure.
And so,
Yeah.
and what we do is go up there and counsel them as to what is, first off, what the values are, and secondly, the time frames, and how we can help her. And we'll recommend an attorney in a heartbeat. I constantly will do that if I think she needs it. And so it's a counseling situation.
Correct. A lot of people got to understand too. It's not always fun. We go into a lot of houses where there are people there in tears most of the time because someone has passed in their family, and we have to go and we have to soothe them. We got to make them feel better. We got to make them understand why, what we can do and why we're here to help them. And you get the other way around too, where people get aggravated, and he'll tell you this. I know. You go in, and the first thing I like to ask was there any brothers and sisters? And when they say there's 6 or 7 brothers and sisters, we know there's going to be a major headache, okay? Major headache, because someone's going to want this, someone's going to want that, and it becomes a nightmare. So there's a lot of things behind the scenes. Most auctioneers, and other people don't get involved in that we do because we do it so much. So
And believe it or
they make
not, as
that.
much as we talk, and we do, and we talk fast, we're actually pretty good listeners. And today you're listening to the Wild Boar Show. My guest today, Evan Minck and Marty Higgenbotham. And Evan has been an auctioneer for 19 years. It's been his blood. He basically was born into it. Marty, in fact, got into it in 1959 and he was, I guess, what do you say, elected into, or you're not, what do you get? Nominated into, because you
Go
already
to the
know
courthouse
nowadays,
and say, "I need a
appointed,
license." That's what you do.
No, I'm saying in 1985, inducted is the word I was looking for. Thank
inducted.
you
There
very
you
much.
go.
Thanks for the help, guys. Sitting over here struggling all over myself. Inducted into the Auctioneer Hall of Fame. So it's my pleasure to have these guys with me today. And I'm telling you some of that in case you didn't see part one, because we had a half an hour to shoot the breeze. We talk about the grieving that comes along with our business.
You know, Chris, I could give you a perfect example.
Please.
I get a call from a lady right here in Polk County, and she had a bunch of unusual things, and so I went out and looked at it. Well, bottom line is, I took one look and said, okay, this is not for Higgenbotham. This is for somebody that knows more about this stuff than Higgenbotham. So I called another auctioneer who we rely on to bring value to these unusual items. Evan sold one of those unusual items the other day
Yep.
for $12,000.
There you go.
And if I would have bought it, I would have paid $750. That's dollars.
So
that
the
is.
item that he's talking about was an actual table from the White House, and it was built from the reclaimed wood. It was signed by a lot of presidents and other secretaries, and we actually sold it at another auction house for $12,000 for the lady. And guess what? The cool thing that I found out after I sold it and auctioned it off, the White House were the ones who bought it back. It is going to
How
go back
about
to the White
that?
House. So yeah, I didn't tell you that, but
No, I
I forgot.
didn't know that
Just
epilogue.
found out the other day. So the White House bought it, and it's going back to the White House, whether they're going to put it back in a museum or wherever for display. But it was a really cool event to see. And we also sold a pair of lamps for $3,000 as well. That was also in the White House. So it was kind of cool.
But there again, without the counseling,
Right.
she would have brought somebody in
yeah.
that does yard sales.
Sure.
And
Yep,
that
yep.
table, I swear
Happens
to
all the
God,
time.
it had writing all over it. It didn't mean nothing to anybody else. And it would have brought $10.
Well, I honestly didn't put it in my auction. Even in my auction with the crowd I have, I thought maybe a few thousand, and I wanted this other person to be involved, and he said absolutely, and it worked out perfect. I don't think it could have worked out any better. It was a really cool thing to do.
Well, one of the things that I like to say is I'm an auctioneer's auctioneer. What does that mean? That means you give me a call, and I have probably 8 or 10 or 12 places in Florida, and I usually can tell where your item is going to sit.
Right.
And that might be at an auction in St. Petersburg. That
Yep.
might be an auction in Lakeland. That might be a dumpster in
Yeah.
Davenport. It might be one of those things, but we'll help you find a way. We're talking about houses and what happens when somebody passes away. Now, Marty, I know you've done this so many more times than I have, but I can't tell you. There are so many times when I'm sitting at a kitchen table and Carl's from California and Mary's from Michigan and Nana just passed away and they hate each other. And they are arguing over a set of pots and pans. We call that precious metals in our business. And I have to tell them the cash is not in the crap, it's in the castle. But if this is important to you, then it's important to me. First thing you try to do is patch the two of them together. And I tell them, listen, if you can't decide on a real estate agent, a judge is going to decide for you because they can't separate the pots and pans, but they can divide money, can't they? They can divide money. And if they say, Chris, go and sell it for them, guess what? I'm going to go and sell it for them. So can't we all just get along? But we have to remind them that the things that are in the house, really, that are left over, Tupperware, hooker rugs, all of these things that they've been collecting forever and said, one of these days, this is going to be worth a fortune.
Grandfather
Maybe.
clocks.
Oh boy, man, and rocking chairs, right? Right, Marty? On it. So here's the neat thing about selling at auction, right? One of the things that you could do is actually sell the house with everything inside. Here's what we'll help you do. We'll help you decide. And they're usually gone anyway, but when we get there, the jewelry, right? We can sell your jewelry. Your coins, we can sell your coins. Okay. There are other things that we can sell. Sometimes the artwork that they bought on cruise ships, maybe not. And I laugh because I sold a whole bunch of it. But your guns And believe me, your house has guns. Believe me, your house has guns. What'd you say, guys? 80% of the house has a gun.
Most of the time.
Grandpa didn't tell anybody about it. There's 2 or 3 of them, and we find them. Don't we? We find
Old
them.
baseball cards.
You're doing
yeah.
your clean-out business,
All
right?
of it. Yep. Find it all the time.
Yep.
All the
And the
time.
rest of it can stay. Think about this for just a second, friends. You know what, Marty? Here's a war story, and I know you got a billion of them, but people call me up and they say, you get them too. Yes, can you help me sell my storage unit? Sure. Where is it? Oh, it's in Clearwater. Okay. And what size is it? It's 10 by 30. Cool. What's inside? I don't know. And they're not kidding.
No, they're not.
They forget.
They forgot.
Then they say, but I don't want to give it away.
Yep.
You
All
don't
the
even know
time.
what's in the storage unit. Okay, what do you think's in the storage unit? Well, there's a dining room table. Okay, and it's a nice one. It's a Stickley, or it's something really, really nice. How long have you had the storage unit? 2.5 years. I don't want to give it away. Too late.
Yep.
Too
Spent
late.
$27,000 on storage fees. Yep.
Yes. When's the last time you were there? Do you have keys? Folks, they just want to stop the bleeding sometimes,
Yeah,
don't they?
They do.
And
Just
so,
astounding.
It
you're right.
is.
And how many times do the agents call us, Marty, after the agents, they forget, the real estate agents want to call us after they got the house under contract and they want us to go and take care of their problem. Isn't that true?
Exactly.
Call us ahead of time. We'll probably get you more money for your house. You agree with that? Yeah. So, and sometimes the houses, let's talk about the advantages of selling a house for a second at auction. Marty, think about that.
Well, the advantage of selling a house is, number one, I'll tell you when it's going to sell, I'll tell you when it's going to close, and I'll tell you what it's going to bring. It's going to bring fair market value every time. And if you want more than it's worth, you probably, whether I try to sell it or you try to sell it or the realtor tries to sell it, they're going to keep it, tell, okay, come down.
Yep.
To the
I
fair
told
market
you,
value.
I told you.
Exactly.
It's going to come down or go up to the fair market value. That's the way it works.
Sometimes we just have to say no.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've learned to do that in the last few years, only because we're getting so many items that I just have to say no.
Yep.
Because, you know, when you start in this business, sometimes you do scramble. Me and Marty talk about it all the time, because now Marty will come here and go, I was just here 2 days ago. Wasn't this building empty? Marty goes, how is this happening? And I get it, because when I first started, you know, we would go and take everything we could, to shovels, to rakes, to the dishes in the kitchen, and put in box lots to sell just to create money. But now I'm kind of getting at another level. So it is hard to get away from what I used to do. It is very hard, but we discuss this all the time.
So I have a couple of, I probably should put all this together in a presentation. In fact, I will, but I have my different levels of sellers. All right. And one is the ambitious seller. And the ambitious seller is the one when you say, well, what are you thinking you'd like to get for your house? And you and I both know it's $350,000. They go, $500,000. Cool. I'd like to be a little taller. I'm not. Chances of me getting any taller aren't going to be there. But okay, but what happens, right? The agent takes they take the listing, and I'm not mad at them for doing that.
Yeah.
You know, but when you get mad is that when you don't communicate with them, because what happens is after a month goes by, they go, "How come you haven't showed my house? Because it's too expensive." They go from this ambitious seller to this hopeful seller, don't they? Well, I'll tell you what. I hope I can get 450. Getting warmer. Now we're another 30 days into it, and she's smiling. Your wife is smiling because she knows this. She's seen this movie without me writing the script. Now we're another 30. Now we're 90 days into this thing. We started at 500. Maybe now we're at 400,000. Guess what? We're all of a sudden reasonable because now maybe we have something that we can negotiate with. And then I think what happens, the next level is they're exhausted. They're done. It's been 4 months of vacuuming the house twice a day, making sure there's no pet hair anywhere. They've done this and 4 or 5 months, and what happens? The unfortunate part is they get to the point of desperation. And now their house has been sitting on the market for 5, 6, maybe 7 months. They hate the agent. They don't want to hear it anymore. They don't want to hear any more excuses from the agent. That's part of the reason the agents sometimes say we can't help them. Correct. Sorry, I was traveling. It's 2025. If you don't take a phone call today, I figure you're in 3 places: the bathroom, the dental chair, right, or in the air.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's about it. What do you say?
Or dead.
Or
That's
dead,
the fourth one. You got a fourth one now.
You're breaking up. Oh my goodness. But we can help those. Listen, we can help you. We can help you with that house. We can help you. Now, one of the other advantages, Marty, right, when we sell a house, because remember, we got Evan too, they don't have to worry about any inspections. They don't have, it's as is, right? Yep. We helped a lady together last year. Of course, we won't mention her name, but her situation was she had what we call deferred maintenance, right? Her husband got very, very sick, and she just let things happen. And so the screens were torn apart. Just a beautiful, beautiful house in a beautiful neighborhood. And all of a sudden, the pool motor breaks, and the pool starts to turn green. And now the screens are broken, and the pool is green, and there's a whole bunch of stuff. And she's still hoping that he's going to get better and he's going to come home. Doesn't know what to do with it. We go in there to sit with her, and there's a stack of realtor cards this high. Because the realtor goes, well, fix the screens, fix the pool, fix this, fix this. No, I'm not going to come out of pocket $50,000 or $100,000, and I got all this stuff. And so what the three of us did was collectively we got together and we said, hey, good news. I know you do. Yep, remember that.
Yes.
We'll just say it was in Sarasota.
Yep.
And we were able to get in there, and you were able to uncover some treasures, right?
Primitive tools everywhere.
That turned out to be an incredible success.
That was wild.
For her, for the client particularly, because we brought all of us brought our abilities to the table,
Right.
and we were able to get her the most money, and it all worked perfectly for her. She is a happy customer.
And if you remember, as I talk about the brotherhood and the unity of the auction business, that lead came to us from another auctioneer.
Right. So just, goes and goes.
It kind of rolls downhill.
Sure it does.
And the other thing, we was talking about estates for just a moment, and I just need to interject this because the auction method of marketing solves a tremendous amount of hurt feelings in a family. And the way it works is this: well, I want this and I want that. And I say, well, wait a minute, girls and guys, here's the deal. We're going to have an auction, and every one of you can get a bid number. And all you have to do is be the last bidder, and you can own it. And now everybody feels like, well, wait a minute, that's fair. Mary can buy it, George can buy it, John can bid, everybody can bid. The last bidder owns it. And that stops a tremendous amount of hard feelings. And I recently did an estate where there was 11 kids. And I could see that coming as an insane nightmare. But we was able to work it out, and everybody was happy. And the sale was by the way, the sale was a huge success. The property brought about $250,000 more than I thought.
That's where I wondered about that.
But again, that was my opinion.
So I want to weave Evan into this for a second too, because when you say that, we oftentimes sell properties with what we call a reserve. So why don't you run with the reserve and talk about how it applies to what you have here, and then Marty and I can maybe talk about it.
So on reserves, I normally don't do reserves.
Tell them what it is first.
Yeah, reserve is if you come in, you got a Rolex, and you need $20,000 for that Rolex. Well, I evaluate it immediately and let you know, first off, what it's going to bring. Now, sometimes if we're close, like he said, you get down to that level, all right, we're real close. You want $10,000 for the Rolex. I'll do a reserve, but what I do is when I get on the microphone, I say, guys, there's a reserve on this item, but what we're going to do is start it wherever you want. Doesn't matter where we start. As long as I'm announcing there's a reserve, you can start it wherever you want, and if we get to the reserve, I announce it, guys, it's going to be sold in the auction. But I will tell you, 99.9% of my items in this auction house right now has no reserves. I have no reserves on my items, and I think that's why my crowd is probably big, and a lot of people like coming here too.
Yeah, so the direct definition of a reserve is that is a price that the auctioneer has agreed with the consignor, with the seller, to not sell below. Now, can they indeed remove the reserve? Does it lower? Yes, but they have to communicate that with us. Sometimes it's on the fly. If you're ever watching some of the car auctions like Barrett Jackson's, right, Meekum, those kind of things, you're going to see up in the right-hand corner, you're going to see it will say reserve is off.
Yep.
And what that means is the seller agreed because they got close enough to a number that made sense to them. Now, just because the reserve is off does not mean, guys, that we sell it right then and there.
Correct. We keep going.
No.
Keep going.
The sale's still on.
Yeah.
That's right.
It just means that we're going to guarantee a sale, right?
Correct. Yep.
Yep.
Count on it.
Yep.
And so, Marty, you and I have done a lot of real estate together. And so when somebody wants a reserve, we typically get them to a point to say, not say get them. We either agree or we don't. If they're so far away, then we just tell them, we can't help them.
There's no sense accepting a sale that you know you can't sell.
Right.
And it literally hurts everybody. It hurts a client because there's advertising dollars spent, whether I spend the advertising dollars or they spend the advertising dollars, there's money spent. And to advertise a real estate sale, you're talking anywhere from $4,000 to $8,000. I think the one we're doing this week is $8,000 advertising budget on it, and that money's gone.
Right.
So if you spend $8,000 or $10,000 advertising a property, and they turn down the bid, that tells you something.
Certainly. Yep.
It tells you they want too much as a rule. That's the bottom line. Or there's something else that could be extenuating circumstances, such as zoning, such as a water line or sewer line.
We had that. We had that in Plant City. Remember that?
Issues that comes up.
Yep.
And nobody wants to buy a pig in a poke. They don't want to buy a problem that they can't see how to solve. And that's one of the challenges. And again, that's what the auction industry does as a whole. And I've watched my auctioneers across the nation. I've got 4,000 auctioneer friends. And they are really, really good about bringing up the problems and saying, this is a problem and this is a problem, and let's fix it before the sale, or when we get to the sale, we're going to tell everybody out there what the problem is. So there's no pigs in the poke, and those are the things that I like about the auction industry. You get a chance to see it, you get a chance to hear about it. The auctioneer will tell you what he knows about it. The auctioneer is going to see to it that the client brings up all the problems that's there, and that's just what I like about the auction business. It's up in the open and everybody can see it. There's no hidden anything.
I want to talk to you in just a second about what you do when you go in and see things that are a little bit out of sync or they're broken or something like that, because I know it's hard news to do. But since you brought that up, and specifically you brought up a pipe, if you remember, we had a property, Marty, in Plant City, and if you remember, it was an agent. It was an agent that I worked with. She already had the listing, and she said, "Chris, here's the problem," and that's what it was. I hate that word, but it's a problem. They got a septic tank that is sinking. And the quote that they had gotten was $10,000. And we don't judge, we liquidate, folks. That's what we do. So at the end of the day, it was a $10,000 repair, and the seller just didn't have the $10,000. So here's what we did. We co-brokered with this agent. Hey, you're still going to get your pay. Then we formulated the structure of the deal so that there was $10,000 built in, so that when the seller took possession, that money was allocated and allowed on the closing statement to make that repair. And by golly, we got them their money. We got the agent paid. We were able to help her on another house, actually. And I need to call her, by the way. But anyway, we solved the problem. Now, you walk in and somebody has something, and it even looks good for you on the photos because they send them to you on your phone.
Right.
You just get one right there. That'd be perfect timing.
Yeah, would have been another one. I get them a lot.
Yep. And you walk in and you think, oh my goodness, and you know you got bad news, and you don't want to tell them that, but you see a crack right down the middle of something that they missed.
It happens a lot, especially with the crystal and stuff like that, or like Lalique or any bohemian glass, anything like that. They love to point it out and say, well, this piece, we paid $2,000 for it. And I go, well, when did it get dropped? That's the main thing. And it happens too, where we may overlook something too, and we bring it here, and then we have to let them know. That gets even more crazier because, now they're trying to blame us, but you can kind of tell it was definitely happened years ago or whatever. But yeah, we try to go over everything when we look at stuff, but there's a lot of things we have to let them know and break their heart all the time, especially on the furniture. No one buys furniture anymore. I don't know if it's really probably since the pandemic is what I'm going to guess. Just nobody. I mean, it's got to be very ornate, very crazy looking, and then it will sell. And it still will not sell for that much. You'll better off giving me little bitty pieces out of your kitchen that I can sell, like Pyrex, believe it or not. Pyrex is making a big comeback. He said Tupperware earlier. What's funny is we actually had a banana box of Tupperware. We actually got $75 for it the other day, and I took it out of the lady's house, and she was tickled to death. So it is weird. You just never know at an auction, though. Like he'll tell you, it matters on the two people who really want it. And if those two people are there, guess what? It's going to be a fun day when those two people are there, because that's what matters.
Oh, I get it. You talk about the Lalique and some of this. I had a gentleman years ago, guys, and he had collected these tube radios, and he had 85 of these tube radios. And I walked into it was a condo over in Countryside, and it was beautiful. It looked like I was going into a radio museum, okay? And so I'm writing them down, Zenith, Z317. The guy goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm just trying to catalog before you say, get them out of here." He's like, I'm moving. I'm moving tomorrow. I gotta get him out of here. He's like, aren't you gonna do this again when you get to your office or something? I said, I am. He's like, okay, I'm pretty sure there's 85. I'll help you count them. So we counted them up, and I'm scratching my head thinking, what doesn't he really want to make sure that the inventory is solid? And he looked at me and he said, Chris, maybe this doesn't make sense to you, but the thrill isn't in the capture, son. It's in the hunt.
Yep.
And I'm like, what?
Yep.
He goes, yeah, I've had more fun seeking these things out. Now I got 85 radios that are in my way and I'm trying to move. You get what you can. Hopefully somebody else is hunting
I
for
think
them.
I went to that auction and bought a lot of your
You
radios.
sure did,
When
yeah.
I met you.
There you go. You remember that?
I
That might
do
have been,
remember
right?
that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Yep. Hey, let's talk about a couple of auction mechanics for a second. So we have the online presence, and everybody asks, are you online? They all ask, are you online?
Yep.
Of course we are. Of course we are. Here's how we are online. Does that mean that our bidders are online? Maybe, maybe not. I know for you, you have online presence, like I think it's your daughter Kayla helped you out.
Yes.
So you are there advertising. This is where we are. There's no games played. You don't have to pay for shipping. You want to come over, sniff it, slick it, smell it, whatever you want to
Yep.
do before you buy it, you can do that, right?
Correct.
And what do you say to people that say, well, do you sell your $8 box of Tupperware, 75,
Right.
sorry.
It's usually the other way around where they come in with a painting and they want me to sell it online. And I tell them the problem is we put it online. Someone in Germany bought it and they might not pay for it for 2 months. So my thing is I grew up in the business where I don't like chasing money. You show up to my auction, you're going to pay for it. You're going to leave with it that day. Now, I call for a lot of other auction houses as well that do have to put it online. And I get that. They may be newer in the business. And right now, he'll tell you new auctioneers, it's hard to get crowds like I get now. It just is if you're new. So the easiest way, put it online because everybody's going to be watching it. Problem is, you're in Georgia. You're not coming down here to feel and touch that piece of glass he just said. And there might have been a little bitty chip on it. So now you've already paid your consignor. Okay, and then a month later you get a charge back and you wonder why. Now he can tell you about a little situation he had a while back, and I remember the coin.
Yep, we had counterfeit coins, and it was one of these things that we just didn't catch it. And the guy that was doing it, he was very nefarious, and he was using these phony credit cards that all checked out, and everything was good. And all of a sudden, 6 weeks after selling $10,000 worth of gold coins,
He calls me too.
we got a charge back, and I couldn't understand that. Like, why would you charge back the card if all of this is phony? But here's what he was doing. He was giving us an address, giving us a card, right? And then the address that he had, then of course a tracking number.
Yep.
He wanted a tracking number, guys, so that he could meet the DHL truck outside. So we got the Texas Attorney General involved and found out he was sending them to houses that were abandoned and literally waiting across the street for the DHL truck and then running up to the
Wow.
front door and sounding like, man, that is a lot of effort. I mean, that's a lot of effort. That's anyway. So yeah, what we did there was we said, okay, from now on, if you want us to ship your coin, you got to wire the cash and all those other things. But then, Marty, let's talk about online for a second because we sell guns and we sell real estate, and we have to be online.
Yeah, we do, and the online buyer in guns, as an example, guns is a known quantity. If you got a model 47 whatever, people knows what a 47 is. So and then it just comes down to condition. If it's got a nick or it's got a break or it's got a
Or there's something
rough
special
spot
about it.
or something special about it, and once we describe it, but we get some kickbacks on our online guns, but about 60% of our guns sell online if they're $500 or more. And we find the more expensive pieces will sell online, and but that's not always the case. I noticed my on-site buyers have moved way up percentage-wise
Yes.
over the last 2 years, in particularly. But the online buyers certainly support the sale. And the bottom line is, what we're hired to do is get the most we can, one way or the other. And that's what. Once we've done that, we've done it.
You bring up a good point here, and we'll talk about real estate here in a second too, and I'll give you something that I say all the time. But 99.9% of the time, folks, we spend our money in advance. And what I mean by that is we will accept your gun. We will accept your tchotchkes. I hate to say that. Your collectibles is a better word. Whatever you want to call it, man. I mean, primitive tools, whatever it is that you're collecting.
Personal
We'll do that on-
items.
Yeah, personal items are good. Whatever you want to call them. You know, to me, I'm the perfect dealer for this stuff because I don't collect it. So it's great. But you love this stuff. And
I love
he'll
it.
tell you which way that they, anyway. That's a whole nother show.
Yes.
That's a whole nother show. The bottom line is don't be afraid to make the phone call. Now, when it comes to real estate, there's usually a small advertising budget, and we understand if you had deferred maintenance or there's financial issues, what we'll do is we'll package that together in the closing so it comes out of the proceeds. In other words, we don't sell it, you're okay. All right. We don't just take it on the chin, but at the end of the day, we're going to make sure that we can get it sold for you. And I know for you, sometimes you have some pickup fees just because we have to, right? There's trucks and there's guys involved and whatever else. But it's still one of these things where the end game isn't it's just going to notable charity like Goodwill or Salvation Army. It's actually going to somebody who's going to buy it, right, and offset some of the costs. Now, Marty, when we sell real estate, we are online with that real estate. And what I always say is this: we have a local stage and we have a global audience. Right? We have a local stage, we have a global audience. So you might have people that call us. I mean, good night. This last week, we had some pretty cold weather. I bet your property in Missouri was icy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So folks that are freezing in the Northeast and they're going, man, it's only 70 degrees down in Tampa, but they can't get down here to look. They can do it online, right?
Yeah. Well, this is the time of year that they start coming down, and we are now. I'm gritting my teeth to say how many New Yorkers.
You read my mind.
New Yorkers are going to have here in the next 3 months. I'm afraid we're going to have more than you can imagine.
Yeah.
Even the
Not
Yankees,
because of the cold, though.
even the Major League Football and baseball teams want to move down here, right? We don't have any state income tax. Florida is incredible. Man, we could keep talking about it. I know we could do another show another time, but I know you got to get to work here, and you got a preview happening today.
Yep.
So, Evan, quickly, you got a sale on Sunday. Let's tee that up again.
Yep. So don't forget, this Sunday is going to be a massive sale. All kinds of primitives, antiques, jewelry, artwork, everything from tools outside. Start at 10 o'clock. I'm going to do preview at 9. You can go to speedkingauctions.com and see all the hundreds and hundreds of pictures we have. And you can show up. And if you don't want to stay too long, you can always leave bids on items as well. And then we'll call you if you win the item.
I always tell people it's not like a movie where if you miss the first part, you've missed the show.
Correct. It's
come
an
on
all-day
anytime.
event now. We've pretty much made this a whole event. I normally do 2-day auctions, but this next few months I got a couple on-sites probably coming up, so I have to kind of focus. So we're just going to do a big 1-day dual auction on Sunday.
All right. And you have food out here. You have the food truck.
We got the food truck, restrooms, everything you can think of. We actually, Sunday going to be here too, I think. Maybe sometimes she shows up with the cool drinks too, but we got hot dogs, burgers, and all that kind of good stuff. So, yep.
Okay. And Marty, maybe one of these days we'll do one of these multi-property sales, huh?
Yeah, you betcha. We will. I promise you, we will. And I gotta say a comment about Evan's operation. He does an incredible job, and he gets more stuff than anybody I've ever known in my life. And I've known a lot of auctioneers across the nation.
Tell them about Thomas Jefferson again.
I don't know where it comes from, but my God, the amount of stuff that we get here in a month's time. And it just really frustrates me. I'm a Rotarian. I've been a Rotarian literally for the last 40, 50 years. And I think maybe there's been one Rotarian that's come to this auction. They have no idea whatsoever of what he sells out here. Right. And occasionally somebody comes out and says, "Oh my God, look at these tools." I had a guy this past week say, "Well, I collect antique tools." Well, guess what? I've got
ding, 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 ding,
200
ding,
antique
ding,
tools in this sale on Sunday.
Yep.
I mean, even stuff that I don't recognize.
And not only that, he'll tell you who made it, how long they made it, what the patent number was, and what's wrong with it. Oh, it's got the wrong
But that's
handle on
another
it.
thing, too. It ain't just me. It's my crew, too. I have Brian and Paul and all these people. I have my wife, Melissa. I got MJ. I have Emily. I have Kayla, my daughter, who does all the photography, the drone when we fly it around and do it all. So we it's not just me, okay? Now, they will say it is a lot of me when I do the setup because I really am particular because I own an antique shop for, years in Plant City. But, I try to make it the best we can, but it is definitely a crew. It is not just me. So that's one thing I definitely got to put out there.
Quick reminder, if you are coming out to the sale and you're going to drive the Mini Cooper, make arrangements because they don't have to take it all the same day, do they?
Nope. You can. We usually do pick up the following day as well, from like 2 to 5, and then if it's something pretty big, we have a lot of antique furniture in this sale, so you buy more than that. Most time you do buy more than what you should when you come to the auction, which is a great thing for us. We'll work with you on pickup all week. Not a problem there.
Well, guys, I can't thank you enough. trying to think if there's anything else that I need to add. We could, guys. I hope we'll do it again. I
Yeah,
really enjoyed this
absolutely.
time, Marty. It's great to see
Love
you,
it.
Evan.
Morning, guys.
I'm kidding. I love these men. I absolutely love these guys. Happy to have them in my life, and I'm happy to have you in our lives as well. So thank you all very much for watching. I would ask that you subscribe, share. If you don't like it, well, quit it. If you do like it, give me a thumbs up.
There you go.
Let us know. We appreciate all of that. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Chris, the Wild Boar. On behalf of Marty Higgenbotham and Evan Minck, we are out.